What NGOs should measure beyond activity numbers, evidence to action, Tuesday Development Insight when NGOs report their achievements. We often hear numbers like, we trained 500 people, we conducted 20 community meetings, we distributed 1,000 hygiene kits, we organized 15 awareness sessions. These numbers are important. They tell us what an organization delivered. But there is a much more important question. What changed because of those activities? This is where many development organizations need to move from simply measuring outputs to measuring outcomes and impact. For example, imagine an organization conducts financial literacy training for 300 young people. The activity indicator may tell us that 300 people attended the training, but attendance alone does not tell us whether participants actually improved their financial knowledge. It does not tell us whether they started saving money, improved their businesses, found employment, or became more financially secure. So instead of only asking, how many people did we train, should also ask, how many participants improved their knowledge? How many applied the skills they learned? How many found employment or started a business? And most importantly, did their economic situation improve? The same principle applies across development sectors. Wash programming, distributing water containers, or rehabilitating water points is important. But stronger outcome measurement asks whether households now have more reliable access to safe water, whether the time women and children spend collecting water has decreased, and whether water-related illnesses have declined. In education programs, counting the number of students enrolled is useful, but we should also measure attendance, learning achievement, retention, completion rates, and whether vulnerable children are actually benefiting from the intervention. In peace-building programs, counting dialogue sessions is not enough. Organizations should examine whether trust between communities improved, whether disputes are being resolved peacefully, whether community participation increased, and whether relationships between different groups became stronger. This distinction is important because there are generally 3 levels of measurement. First are outputs. Outputs measure what the project directly delivers: trainings, workshops, materials, services, or infrastructure. Second are outcomes. Outcomes measure changes that happen because of those activities, changes in knowledge, behavior, access, practices, institutional performance, or community conditions. Third is impact. Impact looks at the longer-term difference the program contributes to, such as improved livelihoods, better health, stronger resilience, greater social inclusion, or reduced vulnerability. Strong NGOs therefore do not ask only, what did we do? They also ask, what changed? And how do we know that change happened? To answer those questions, organizations need good monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning systems. This does not always require complicated research. It can include simple baseline and endline surveys, participant follow-up interviews, community feedback, service use records, observation, focus group discussions, and routine program data. The key is to define the expected change before implementing the activity. For every major intervention, ask 3 questions. What change do we expect? What indicator will show that change? What evidence will we collect to verify it? When organizations begin thinking this way, monitoring becomes more than a reporting requirement. It becomes a management tool. It helps organizations understand what works, what does not work, and what needs to change. It also strengthens accountability to communities, partners, and donors. Because ultimately, development success should not be measured by how many activities we completed. It should be measured by the meaningful and sustainable changes those activities helped create in people's lives. So here is today's evidence to action question. What outcome does your organization measure beyond the number of activities completed? Share your experience in the comments. #evidence to action, #development practice, #leadership, #community impact, #monitoring and evaluation, #meal, #NGO management, #social impact.